welcome back to my small part of the universe. My name is Hailstone. Today we will be looking at a specimen that's rather hard to differentiate on whether it's a husk or a clown. So please, if you will, sit back, relax, and let us begin. Local name, Deep Sea Clown. Sonar signature, slightly more fat than a crawler. Zones of sighting, the Aphotic Plateau and deeper waters. Height of the creature, roughly 9 feet or taller depending on the individual. Pack tactics, often found in groups of 2 or more. Dietary preference, as far as I know, I'm fairly certain this may be bananas. Have you ever told someone a joke and they just didn't get it, and you are the only one smiling? Then you wonder, is it because they truly didn't find it funny, or is it that you're not the ha-ha type of funny? You then breathe a sigh of relief when you remember you are a child of the Hawk Mother, and you're the only one that the grand joke of the universe should be mattering to. Well, that, and the one you told the joke to is too busy choking on husk tentacles to laugh at anything, and then you both thought of something far more funny than that joke. And now, that is where we find ourselves today. In the past, I have lauded many of the Church of the Husk's accomplishments and their advancements, regardless of whether I would partake of their gift. But not all chapters of the church are as clean as Yakov's branch, regardless of how many new drugs and narcotics he is on. But that is a problem that their future heralds of the tides handle rather well. Though this tide is one I feel they should thoroughly wash their hands of, or it's a torrent within their own church that they have yet to truly see. And perhaps it is something that should have never crossed in the first place. Something far more than profane and unholy could describe, and perhaps it could be seen as the Hawk Mother finding this unfunny. Biology of the Deep Sea Clown. The Deep Sea Clown feels wrong to look at, typically appearing as a lanky yet brutish humanoid with rather disturbing alterations to what is supposed to be human. Notably, the torso, legs, and arms of the clown have almost doubled in length of what would be standard regarding most humans, with dense muscle growth occurring in the arms of the clown, which I assume gives the clown its more hunched over appearance, with the former clothes of this abomination barely holding on as rotted as they are. The former stomach, or perhaps new stomach of the clown, has hollowed itself out, leaving behind a sawed-out ribcage, or perhaps even a set of teeth lining this new cavity of the stomach, almost giving off the feeling of a large new mouth on this humanoid body, given the fact now that the last mouth the clown had is now currently occupied by a skull. At first, with the first few specimens that we could capture alive, they had evidence of calyx eggs on them, and due to the fact that we found them on a wrecked submarine of Church of the Husk registration, I thought that these deep-sea clowns may be some form of wayward experiment or wrongful hybrid of clown and husk in a almost paranormal way. But I was wrong. The Klaxonite did nothing to poison or even so much as damage these beings, nor do they seem to share the husk's propensity for regeneration despite their glaring mutations and wounds on their bodies. Surprisingly, this betrays them more as human than husk, despite of course the comically stretched open white skull that is now sporting a new fleshy growth sticking out that is now wearing the old clown mask. If these aren't husks and are not the byproduct of some other biological agent that can be found here on Europa, there might be only one answer to what they are, and that is, they are still human. Not in the most literal sense, but one that has acquired additional powers far outside that of the physical realm. Ones that are blessed by a being that I can barely begin to describe. The Hawk Mother. Truly, between the Hawk Mother and Jove, I find myself constantly tested at trying to classify non-relativistic beings, and as ones outside the viewable universe, how would you even start to explain them? Words would do little good to discuss them, only serving better as a warning rather than an explanation. All of this just leads me to ask, what else could possibly explain this? Regardless of my opinion of the Hawk Mother and possible people blessed by a higher being, seems not so outlandish once one has gazed upon Jove, And there was one point in time that I do recall there being a golden age of the clowns, so to speak, where every stripe and configuration of clown, from the most dour to the most violent, were freely blessed and seemed to be empowered to do nearly whatever they wanted so long as they donned the mantle of the clown. I have witnessed feats that simply should not have been possible, such as clowns rivaling the Husk and swimming out into the dangerous pressures of the European Ocean with basically no harm to themselves, aside from getting devoured by passing swarms of mud raptors or succumbing to injuries from a thresher due to lacking the Husk's propensity for regeneration. But since then, I have noticed a rather considerable decline in the once prominent submarine clown. Granted, not that they are gone, but the modern day clown is far less robust than what they once were, and perhaps these deep sea clowns are those that refused to change with the times, refusing to let go of the blessings that they once had. Once, these were clowns that were bathed in the Honk Mother's radiance, her most blessed. Yet one day, out in the mire and darkness of the European oceans, something just changed. A switch was flipped, and what was once numerous waters inhabited by a clowny army turned red with crushing pressure as it snapped away their freedom as mysteriously as they had gained it. Yet, there were those who refused to have their blessings taken away. They cursed the Honk Mother in anger as their bones twisted and cracked and their flesh teared in the deep waters of Europa, allowing salt to flow in, fueling an already searing anger. Their bones twist and contort as they are brought down into the abyss. Skin turns green and slowly decays, allowing the muscles to extend, turning their arms and chest comically long. What was once their stomach becomes the first thing to fully rot away, being picked at by the European fauna and bacteria, yet curiously leaving a hollow opening, not too dissimilar to that of a mouth. And, for the final aspect, the face of the clown is stripped away, leaving only a bleached white skull, absent of human features or even the smallest ounce of flesh. Then, as their final rejection of both their humanity and the Honk Mother, from deep within this once human, a chuckling bulbous head emerges, pushing the skull back and wearing it as nothing more than a sick collar of its former humanity. Now sporting a seemingly old, rotten clown mask pulled tight over what could only be guessed as cancerous growths, giving the deep sea clown much more definition to their hunched over, lumbering posture, all while horrifying raspberry laughter can be heard in the nearby waters. At the end of all of this, I believe that these deep sea clowns can only be one thing: a spiteful revenant, one that has refused to relinquish their given domains. Granted, there is no way I can confirm whether this to be true or not, as this enters the realms of advanced metaphysics with psionic implications, both subjects that are far beyond me and realms that I don't even think most of us even realize exist. Though, irregardless of what type of phantasm that these clowns may be, they are rarely a threat to a prepared submarine crew, though in many situations this will only truly apply to security, as these laughing, chainsaw-wielding clowns may simply just tear through the less prepared members of the crew. So, to all crews going forward, exercise caution when approaching wrecks, as there might be something more than a thalamus or mud raptor trying to get on board, though with their screams, you should know well ahead of time.